Yo, what's up? It's your boy TUSKO to the day yet again. And yeah, but fair to basically just addressing a lot of things today. Just I feel like I need to address these things because if I don't address them, then the narrative is twisted and people will run with whatever narrative is being said. Okay. And you guys will already know that earlier today on Metro FM, one of the organizers by the name of, I think, Ozmik, basically came out on Metro FM after, with, Mo Flavor and Maschaba Likalake, played him one of my voice notes, basically explaining the whole situation that happened between me and Cassper. He basically came out saying that I was drunk, okay, and saying that I was clearly drunk and provoking Cassper Nyovest and provoking him to do the things that he was doing. He also said that I was attention seeking and that's why I'm on Twitter saying all the things that I'm saying, and so on and so forth. You guys that are following the whole thing on Twitter, you guys know what's going down. And basically I have to just come out and address that, because if you let people run with that narrative, then, people will believe that. And a lot of people on social media are already believing that, I'm lying about the whole situation. The whole situation is not true. And this is the sad aspect of it, because I actually thought Ozmik and the organizers of the event were the ones that were going to come out somewhat to try and be truthful. But by the grace of God, most likely chances are we're trying to recover some of the stuff on the memory card. We're getting some computer science people to look into it. So they might just get exposed. Very soon you guys might see all the footage of what actually happened and them saying I'm drunk. And I am telling you right now that they are going to get exposed. I don't want people taking me as if, I'm one person who's trying to destroy their careers or say anything bad. But when you say something like that about me and say that I'm drinking, I was drunk, you have to substantify it. And I'm sad to tell you that most likely chances are you're going to be exposed, because there's no possible way that you could say that I was drunk and I was drunk during the moment whereby I was standing up for myself. Do you understand what I mean? You cannot come out and say that a person is attention seeking because they came out and actually told the truth about what happened in a situation. And you cannot say that a person was drunk because they actually stood up for themselves. And by the way, I must speak like Tusco D, because, Tusco D that's just analyzing a neutral situation. If this was me analyzing a neutral situation, Ozmik can just take an L, number one, for dick riding Cassper Nyovest, because you cannot come and tell me that Cassper Nyovest did not do anything wrong when he was taking somebody else's property and walking out with it, and you guys were telling him that, okay, take the footage and go and delete it in private somewhere. Let me tell you something. It's not Cassper Nyovest's equipment. He cannot run around taking other people's things and running around and saying that, I'm going to delete some footage and do whatever. And by the way, he deleted everything after that. And like I'm saying, he said Cassper Nyovest did nothing wrong. I was the one who was wrong. Like, how do you blame the victim in the situation? Please explain to me. So people are saying that you provoked Cassper. This is like telling a woman that who's being beaten at home that, it's because she provokes the husband. Like, there's nothing like that. There's no justification for someone doing something wrong to somebody else. Cassper Nyovest committed a crime, okay? It is a crime to take somebody else's property. It is a crime to push people around. It is a crime to intimidate people for doing their jobs. I asked a question, as a good journalist should do. You ask questions, and I know that you guys that watch this channel already know. You watch us because you know our niche is because we ask the things that everybody else does not want to ask, and we are the ones that are bold enough to ask them. And you are free as an artist to actually say, I don't want to answer that question. And Cassper did say that. He didn't have to come back and, start saying they should break my equipment. And Ozmik, please collect this out. And by the way, I have to say this because I know that in future they're probably going to say, don't allow Robust to, come to the SA Hip Hop Awards and so on and so forth. But the truth is, in this case, I would like to ask him to quickly retract that statement, because trust me, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, you're most likely going to get exposed, and it's not going to look good for you, because truthfully, the footage we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that stuff back by the grace of God. And I don't want you to get mad at me and say that it was me. It was you that came out and told a lie. It was you that came out riding on Casper's wave. I know maybe you're afraid that next year he might not come or attend the SA Hip Hop Awards. I don't blame you, but let's try and be truthful in situations. And man, in fact, let me not blame him too much. Like, also, he didn't see everything. And like, I feel like if you didn't see everything, like, come out and be truthful and say, yo, I didn't see as much as I claim I had seen. He didn't see what happened between me and Cassper at the beginning. And Cassper brought, he kept saying he's going to teach me a lesson. I think I'm clever, blah, blah, blah. Like, all those things, bruh. Like, you didn't see him when he was, telling Spike to go break my equipment, and Spike busy saying let's go backstage, and the bouncers pushing us. You only saw the time when it was turning into a turn up, because now everybody was starting to surround the situation because they saw Cassper was involved and they saw that he was shoving me. So now everyone was starting to get around, which is partly the reason why there's no footage, because when that started, that's when people started to break everything up. Had that gone on a bit longer, you would see more footage, because then people would have pulled their phones out and actually started recording. And because they had dragged us backstage, the people that would even want to record the situation, they weren't backstage, and that's why they were lowering us backstage. Because like I've said before, my fear at the time was these guys are lowering us backstage because they basically want to jump us and beat us up. So yeah, I'm hoping he retracts that statement, because it's not true. I don't drink. You guys that even follow this channel, feel free. There's some music I dropped like 3 years, or is it 2 years back. There's a song I call Christ Like. There's a song called Dear Mr. Pastor. It's clearly Christian rap. It clearly talks about, in some parts of it, I talk about, my feelings about alcohol. So let's tell the truth. Buffett, I don't drink. You were just like, I mean, literally, I don't drink. Like, you chose the wrong person to actually talk about alcohol. I don't drink. So I don't know where you got, this whole drinking thing coming from. It's not possible that I was drunk only when I started standing up for myself when Cassper was dragging my equipment. It's not possible. That I did interviews with Gigi Lamaine, I did interviews with DJ Speedster, I did interviews with Shabs Medallion, I did interviews with Deleuze, I did interviews with Petty Monroe, but the only time I'm actually, drunk is when I do an interview with Cassper Nyovest and he starts dragging my equipment, and I only provoke Cassper Nyovest to fighting. Like, come on now. Let's be honest. And also, I had an interview with Ricky Rick, which is, for me, was a really great interview. He gave me a lot of good advice. And, that was also just before Cassper. I mean, me and Ricky Rick we had a pretty good interview, and, he explained some stuff to me that he didn't like, that he liked. And, if I could have a conversation with Ricky Rick like that and he not be provoked, because he was checking me. Ricky Rick was checking me. Literally, he was checking me, and he was telling me, yo, Tusko, you said ABC the other time. I didn't like that. He was checking me. So I wasn't drunk at that time enough to actually fight with Ricky Rick at that time and say all sorts of things about Ricky. But when Cassper comes through now, I'm drunk enough to start provoking Cassper. Come on now. And that time, the interview with Ricky Rick and Cassper Nyovest are just 2 minutes apart. So I was sober when I was interviewing Ricky Rick, but I was drunk when I was interviewing Cassper. And Casper's interview didn't even last 3 minutes. Come on now. Come on now. But anyway, Bafetu, leave me a comment and definitely subscribe. Awesome.